Hey there, I'm Aimee here, and welcome to my podcast. This is the podcast that you come to if you are looking for true inspiration and motivation in your life. I will be sharing stories of people who have been through significant traumas, who have been through hardship, adversity, and really deep challenges in their lives, and who have chosen to look at those things as an opportunity to create success in their life. I really hope you enjoy listening in. So today I have a very special guest, my first guest on the podcast. I'm very excited to have Simone from Simone Louise Health and Fitness with me. She runs a program, Ditch the Diet Fads and Become Fit for Life. Master the effective habits of a successful routine that allows you to be healthy and happy physically and emotionally so you can live your best life each and every day. Simone, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yeah, me too. So we were just having a little bit of a chat before about your program that you run. So it's Fit for Life. And I love that, you talk about, setting good routines, because I think, especially when people go and do like those standard kind of challenges, it's like you do something for 8 weeks and then it's done. And then it's like, then what? So I love that you focus on that. So let's get kickstarted in telling us a little bit about the program that you run, and then we'll kind of get into all the good, juicy stuff.
Sure. Yeah. So just like you explained then, I really noticed that a lot of fitness programs were done in such a short increment type period and was all about losing weight quickly, bouncing back pre-mummy, all these post-mummy, all these sorts of things. But there was nothing on the other side to help you with that. So I watched a lot of my friends and family do these programs, varying in length from 6 to 12 weeks generally. And then within 12 months, they had gained back all the weight again. So it really got me questioning what was missing, what other components that other people want to see. And when I decided that I wanted to create an online platform for health and fitness, it was really important for me to work out, what do people need? What is that extra support? What is that extra guidance that will help them stay fit for life and not just fall off on the other side of the end of a challenge or a quick program?
Okay. Yeah. And so you said online. Is all of your programming online, or do you do any one-on-one kind of face-to-face stuff?
It will vary throughout my schedule and what's happening for the week, for the month, and those sorts of things. At the moment, I'm in New South Wales, so I'm in lockdown. So there isn't any face-to-face component that I can offer at the moment. But yeah, there's definitely scope to have small group classes and personal one-on-ones. There's definitely an option there for that as well.
Is it more mums that you tend to focus on, like getting back to, your pre-baby, happiness, if you will?
Where my passion actually lies is supporting the shift working community. So my husband is a shift worker, and he's lived in that lifestyle. We've lived in that lifestyle for over 11 years now. And what I really found is that my circle of friends really started to gravitate to those that were in the same circumstances of me, of understanding what it felt like to be a single mum, even though you're happily married, because your partner is often working long hours, long shifts, and you feel like you're doing it all alone sometimes. So it really felt like you didn't fit within the normal scope of everyone working 9 to 5 lives, and not really understanding what it was like not to have a Monday to Friday sort of routine. So shift workers and helping people that, are sleeping in the day and then up through the night, those sorts of things. How do they stay fit and healthy, and how do they look after themselves? So and within that, obviously mums is that niche as well, but it's kind of on a very different scope as well.
Yeah. My husband's a shift worker as well, and I often will be like complaining almost, and I'm like, oh, this is so hard. Like, we just don't have a Monday to Friday. And then even trying to explain that to people, like just the circumstances of, no, it's not Monday we do this, and Friday, and then Saturdays we have, the weekend we have that together. Like sometimes, like for instance, today is our Saturday. So it's super strange. Like I remember, like this morning, I was kind of all delusional waking up going, is it Sunday today? what day is it? I'm like, no, it's Tuesday. Like, I
Yeah, yeah,
completely get where you're coming from. And I think there is definitely a need there because it's almost confusing trying to kind of keep up with the, okay, well, this week, Monday is a Tuesday and next week, Monday is a Wednesday. And yeah.
yeah. And that's what became so important for me to really bring in some strong structures into our family, and especially with our kids. We've got 3 boys that are 7, 5, and 3. So for them to understand dad's here today, dad's not here tomorrow, and how we actually made that work, how I meal prep around, well, my husband's not home, but he still needs to eat. So am I cooking earlier so he can take dinner,
Yeah.
and those sorts of things. So really just scheduling out our life. And the same thing for me. Well, how do I get to exercise when I can't say, well, I'm going out to do a sport now. I'm going out to do the gym. Like, I always felt like I had to be so dependent on having the children in whatever circumstances. And that's why online fitness was the way around for me to combat being able to stay fit and healthy, even though I couldn't go to a gym. Or if I did find a gym I could go to for the creche for 3 kids, it was just so expensive that I couldn't make it work.
Yeah. So, I believe that everyone who does, what you do, everyone who gets into a business for themselves, or everyone who's kind of driven, to achieve something, there's always a story. And I know you've kind of touched on it a little bit, but if you're open to it, I'd love to jump in a little bit deeper and find out a little bit more about you and, what's your story? What's your life been like? What's led you on this path to doing what you do? Because I know it goes much deeper than just, the shift working community. There's something else in there. So if you're open to sharing that, that would be super cool to hear all about that side of you.
Yeah, of course. Everyone's always got a journey, don't they?
Yeah.
So I guess growing up as a child, I always struggled with my weight. I was an overweight child, and for all of my teens as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was always relatively active and did a sport, but it was the nutrition component that was always lacking for me. It was always that so hard to understand what was going on with food labels, and we could probably do a whole podcast just talking about the star ratings on the front of boxes.
We should. We'll earmark that one.
And I think it was just one of those things that it was just so complicated to work out that nutritionally I never ate well, even though I thought I was. Mm-hmm. All those little things like, you think Nutri-Grain's good for you because it's got a Iron Man or an Iron Woman on the front. And Mum really had no idea that she was letting me eat so much sugar every day and all those sorts of things. So nutrition was always my down point growing up. And as I got older, I was always I had a gym membership since I was probably 18 or 19 years old, and I started my corporate career. I always enjoyed being active, but I never really hit those goals. I always felt like I had to really pretty much starve myself or go on this crazy diet to be able to get anywhere. And then I got pregnant with my first child at 28, which was really, really exciting. Thankfully for us, it was an easy process to fall pregnant. And when I was 13 weeks pregnant with my first child, my husband was diagnosed with testicular cancer.
Oh, wow.
So, just newly pregnant and finding out that your husband has a tumor is really, really scary. And overwhelming to go through. What you expect to be your journey into nurturing into motherhood and growing this pregnancy, for me, it developed into me becoming a carer for my husband as he was going through surgeries and having part of his anatomy removed, having chemotherapy and all these types of things. And it was a really, really difficult point in our lives. And also being pregnant at the same time. So
with your first,
So a very emotional journey throughout that pregnancy. To be expected, with everything you're going through, you have no idea what's coming out the other side. You just bought our sort of first family home and hoping to fill it full of babies and all those sorts of things. And now actually just having those wavering thoughts of, am I actually even going to have a husband? Am I going to be a widow with a child, and what does that look like, and how does that feel, and a lot of I think which masked it over, both my husband and I, with humor, with laughing about it, and he's just testing out the hospital system before me, and and on all those. There was definitely a lot of one ball jokes going along for a long time. They still happen, actually.
Well, you have 3 children, so I mean, it works.
I recall one of our friends saying to us one day, do you feel lucky because you found the tumor quite early, or do you feel unlucky that this situation happened to you?
Wow, that's a deep question.
And we actually always feel lucky that he found it so early on in the journey, that he was obviously so body aware. And for a young man being 28 years old, that he had the confidence just to go, I'm going to the doctor to sort it out. Absolutely. Because I'll tell you right now, if that was my dad or something like that, he would just never even go to the doctor for that type of thing. So to be able to just get in and be aware of your body and go through the journey of that process and what that was for us. So given his age, which actually it's not uncommon to have testicular cancer in your 20s. But given his age, they sort of obviously recommended that we go ahead with the procedure and not wait to have his anatomy removed and all those sorts of things, because they didn't know how quickly the cancer could spread. And, they left it up to us because they didn't know how chemotherapy would affect fertility as well, and whether we wanted to go ahead and do that. But we always came back to the standpoint of it was us first, instead of the future. So what's the future look like if we don't have each other? So it was always about getting his health back to 100%. And then we would worry about the complications of growing our family and all those sorts of things later. So you already know we have 3 kids. So fast forward onto that, and we were able to expand our family and add 2 more into that. And my husband is well in remission now, 8 years on. So that was really the kind of huge tipping point of how important it was to be healthy and to look after us.
Was that around that time when you looked at starting your business? Like how long have you been in business?
My business is actually quite new. We're only coming up to getting close to 12 months now. So a baby in the business world. But I've been in the health and fitness industry for over 10 years, but it's always just been a hobby. I have a corporate background in finance and accounting. So I've worked my way up through, very different to what I do now.
Very different, yes.
Payroll management and finance and accounting tasks and all those sorts of things. And fitness just always made me happy. It was the place that it was my release from the world emotionally and physically. And I just loved it. So I had a lot of friends that owned gyms and stuff like that, and I just worked for them on the side, doing little bits and pieces and exploring it. And as we had our 3rd son, Blake, it just became more and more difficult to manage the corporate lifestyle. My husband was having to consistently work night shifts so I could get to the office through the day, and we just felt like passing ships in the night. And I remember saying to my husband one day, did you think it would be like this? Like, I know it was our choice to have 3 kids, but I never thought I could be so happy but so lonely. Because he would go off to work overnight, I'd get the kids in bed, and then I'd just be like, okay, just me now. It's quiet, it's lonely, but I'm happy. So it was the most bizarre feeling. But it was actually my husband that really encouraged me to pursue my entrepreneurial dreams. And he's like, just go for it. You're able to help us so much. I know you just want to help more people. So let's do it. Let's, you know, and I say let's because it's funny, because it's my business, but we always talk collectively as we.
Absolutely. And it is a team effort when you're a family and you're running a home business. It's it's you know, the times that you need to focus on doing your stuff, he's there to help with the kids. It's very much, you know, in any relationship, you're a team. And in order for each of us to achieve our own goals, we have to work as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so important.
So tell me a little bit more about the program that you run and that you offer. So if there is anyone that was interested in, you know, maybe they've listened to part of the story and they've gone, oh my gosh, that's me, like that, I need to do this. What is it that you offer people when they sign up to your program? Where do they find it? What's in there?
Well, my program can be run either through the web-based version, so on the web, or through an app as well. So you can download an app to your phone. And a lot of my clients like to Chromecast the app up to their TV so they can watch me full screen and feel like they're really working out alongside me.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's a physical fitness workout program that requires really minimal equipment, so only dumbbells and a lot of body weight, a lot of functional movement to really help with the daily routine of life. So all the things that we seem to hurt ourselves doing, like carrying 3 loads of washing in one basket, or we don't want to go to the car twice, so we're going to carry 20 shopping bags in one go, and we hurt our shoulders, we hurt our backs, all those sorts of things. So I've really designed my fitness program to support your body through functional movements of what you do in your everyday life as a busy person and as a mum running a home and all those sorts of things. We sit so much these days, and that just creates so much issues within our lower back and our hips and all those sorts of areas. So thinking about functionality of exercises that work to support your body is really what I like to think about and do. So my app basically is a exercise program that has voiceovers and full instructions on how to do the workout, music behind it. So it's really a plug and play option for you to be able to use, and workouts that are done in about 30 minutes. I think our longest one's about 35 minutes. So really quick and effective.
Yeah.
Within that, it's that's kind of just the beginning part of it, really. Exercise, it's just that one component. But what I feel is even more important is the community that I've created, and that sense of feeling like someone is there. And that seems to be what I feel has been missing from a lot of online programs, is the real support and connection in being able to get through it and stick to it for a long-term basis. It's all well and good to sort of get through something for 6 weeks or 8 weeks to do a program or a challenge, but how do you make this your life? How do you stick with it? So I deliver a live workout in our private Facebook group every week when I'll talk a lot about modifications and what you need to do. If you've woken up with a stiff neck, if you're feeling like your knees just aren't coping with doing a lunge, what can I do instead? Because they're the components that you seem to fall off a program when you're like, well, I don't know what to do, so I'll just switch it off now, because what do I do now when I feel that I can't do that, or I'm injured, or I need something else? So having a really supportive environment so people can continue progressing, as well as a weekly coaching call. So we I have a set topic each week that people can come and either chat to me on Zoom for, or it live streams into our private Facebook group as well. So if it doesn't suit, if someone's on shift or something like that, they can watch it back when they're ready. And we talk about all sorts of different stuff, from mindset, why do you overeat or undereat, why do you know, and going through the components of, we're so guilted as mums as to having to put everything and everyone before ourselves. So really bringing it back that if you're actually looking after yourself, you're giving more to your family, and you're really being that best version of yourself. And that is so important, and that is so great to be able to offer that. We'll even have a night where I'll ask all of our community members if they want to share with me their local takeaway or restaurant menu. And we actually go through the menus and talk about how to make healthier choices within the menus. Yeah, what to order. Because it's all great when you're sticking at home and you're eating your food you got in your fridge, but then you go out and you see these menus and you're either overwhelmed to really indulge or wanting to make a healthier choice but not knowing what to choose. So it's really equipping people for lifestyle solutions to stay fit and healthy.
Love that, because I even speak to so many people in clinic with what I do from a coaching perspective, and they say the same thing. They're like, oh, my knee's injured so I can't work out. And I'm like, I always use the example when my husband had knee surgery, had like a full reconstruction. He would go to the gym and he'd set up 2 rowers side by side and he'd put one leg on the seat of the other rower and he would row with one leg while the other one went forwards and backwards. But it's examples like that where I'm like, you can use other parts of your body. Just because something, one part of you might not be functioning the way it usually functions, you can use other things, you can do other things. And I love that, people do have fear when they're trying to watch what they're eating and they go out and it's either they don't go out at all, or like you say, they get there and they freak out, they get overwhelmed and they're like, oh my God, what am I going to eat? Oh, I have to have a salad. Or it's like, no, you know what? Tonight you can have the steak and chips, but we'll make sure that, we can make allowances for that. So I love that you focus not just on, here's an app, go and off you go and do it. There's that community sense. There's that support that you're offering people. And I think you've hit the nail on the head there. There has been that hasn't been available, in the market. So well done.
Yeah. It's exciting, with anything when you just start a business, there's so much to sort of get through to obviously expand out that message and be heard and to be found. So there's so much potential and I can't wait to see how this actually expands into years and years ahead.
Amazing. Well, I am a huge fan. I love what you're doing. I love you. I think you're absolutely amazing. I'm so happy that you've been able to get to this point, and well done to you as well. Like, you're in lockdown. Did you say 5 weeks or 7 weeks now?
We're in 7. This is our 7th week of lockdown. So no easy feat at all, having 3 young kids at home in lockdown when you have a startup business and a shift working partner.
Wow.
People just shake their head at me and just go, I don't know how you do it. So
you know what, you're doing it.
Yeah. And I put it down to my routine. My routine is really what keeps me going and making me feel so fit and healthy and strong. And I always laugh at all the mums groups or, the school groups that I'm in when they're sending another picture of another glass of wine. I'm like, you don't need that. You just need some more squats. You just need some more...
No wine. Swap the wine out for squats, ladies.
Get the squats. You just download my app. Do the free trial,
What if they do wine and squats? They can squat with the wine.
I know people are probably too scared to come over to my house now because a play date will turn into making the mums do a workout with me.
It's functional fitness, right? You can have a play date and do exercise at the same time.
Absolutely. No, and I think it's so important for your kids to see that as well. I don't think we really realize how much they're looking at us to be role models and how much they really want to see that. For me, having to overcome those nutritional battles as a child, it was really having to relearn so much. So a lot of what I feel I love to do and role model for my kids is for them it's just what it is. It's like being healthy doesn't have to be hard for them. If we can really just instill those routines when they're younger, it'll just be their life, which is, what we all want to do, right? Live happy and healthy for a long, long time. So the earlier we can do that, hopefully the better chance we have of,
It's very interesting you bring up that point, because I think, that alone is a completely, very important and very separate topic. But just to kind of touch on it briefly, that you're right, our children are looking at us, and this is an unprecedented set of circumstances that we're living through at the moment, and our kids are watching everything we do. So if we go to that bottle, that's what we're showing them. We are showing them this is how you deal with something that's significant that's happening in your life. And I think, that's well worth chatting about, because if you're showing a really healthy example of how to handle something that's difficult, then you're setting them up for their lives when something difficult comes around for them, and they're in a season where they might be struggling, and they saw mum and dad, or mum or dad, or the carer that's looking after them. This is what they did in that time. This is how they showed me how to be resilient. And and I think sometimes we're just poking fun and we're having a bit of a joke, but being mindful of the example that we are setting for the people who are watching us.
Yeah, definitely. And I noticed that as well after I've had my second and third son, that my eldest was watching what I was eating all the time. And when I was doing these fad diets, trying to lose my baby weight so quick, and he would comment, "Are pancakes not healthy because you're not having pancakes with us? Mum, is mashed potato not healthy because you won't eat potato?" So whenever I was on these quests of, okay, I'm not eating carbs, or I'm not having this, or I'm not doing that, and I noticed how much more and more he was watching all the time. And I thought, I've got to stop doing this. I can't do this, because he's going to start mirroring that behavior. And that's not what I want him to grow up with for his life. So they're always watching. They're a lot smarter than what we give them credit for.
Absolutely. And carbs are our friend.
I know.
Eat the carbs.
The amount of clients that I have that are absolutely petrified about carbohydrates. And it's really just learning the good ones to the bad ones. And that's what we really discuss in our program. I'm not prescribing a full meal plan for people. I have lots of different guides and tools that you can use, but I'm definitely not telling you what you should be eating every day, because we're all different. We all come from different cultural backgrounds and all those sorts of things. We need to adapt it into our lifestyle way. So how do you tweak things for you to make it that little bit healthier and still have sustainable practices for your whole family? I'd certainly not cooking 4 different meals a night to suit everyone in the whole family. So a lot of my approaches is about teaching people, okay, take your portion to the side before you add in the pasta for the kids and those sorts of things. And just adapting your family meals to make it a little bit healthier for you, depending on what your goals are, if you're really trying to lose weight and those sorts of things. And still preparing the meals that your family loves as well. And that's what comes down to doing things for a long-term process. It's all well and good to stick to a meal plan for 6 weeks or 8 weeks. You can get through that. And that's why people fall off the other side, because it's not sustainable for their lifestyle.
Absolutely. So, Simone, where can people find you and your program?
Well, you can go straight to my website, which is slhs.com.au, and all my contact details are on there. You can download a 7-day free trial of my app if you'd like to give it a go. All the links are on there for my email address and how you can get in touch with me. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well. So I have a nice big vision to create some corporate wellness programs.
Lovely.
So, that is in the making as well for those employers that would like to really support their shift working businesses with that. So watch this space.
Amazing. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining me. I've just loved having a chat with you. I am a huge fan and huge supporter of what you do. I think it's absolutely amazing. And all the best with the rest of your business and your journey with that.
Thank you, Aimee, and I'm sure we'll have some amazing things to do together in the future as well.
A little bit of a sneak in there. We absolutely do, and that's even more exciting. So we'll have to get together again and have a chat about that one.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Yet another inspirational and motivational story that we were able to share with you. Please don't keep us a secret. Share the love across all of the social media platforms. The more the merrier. If we can get the message out to as many people as possible, then we can inspire and motivate as many people as possible. Really hope you enjoyed today's episode and look forward to sharing another one with you next time.